Is this even working? Oh my god, I think I'm live. How do we do this? Okay. Let's do that. Let's add this. Oh. Okay, now let's make this super big. Is this working? I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna go flip over to YouTube quick and see if this is working. Sorry, y'all, I haven't done Streamlabs stream in a while here, so let's just double check that this is working. Oh, cool, it is. So awesome. All right, what's up, everybody? In today's video, all right, I'm here. I have quite a few things I want to talk to you about. I made my gay little list, everybody. But how are you? How are you doing? Did we all survive the Pisces new moon? Yesterday, the moon is still in Pisces as we speak, and I definitely want to talk about that a little bit because I was shook yesterday. I don't know how you all were. Let me figure out this. This lighting is very strange. Is that better? Okay. Hi, hello. Okay, let's get our little list together here. Okay, so where should we start? Okay, so yeah, Pisces, new moon. The moon is still in Pisces as I speak, dabbling with Neptune. It has been crazy. The emotionality, my god. And I'm going to have a gay little vulnerable moment towards the end of this stream where I discuss some other sort of Piscean themes that will take you into the depths of my soul. And yeah, Mars, I believe, is at 28 degrees. It has finally barely pushed past Pluto. I think Venus is still there, conjunct Pluto at 27 degrees. So once she continues on, by the end of the day, I think she'll also be at 28 degrees. And then I think by Saturday, they will move into Aquarius. And that will really free up some energy. Some of the pressure, I think, will loosen up. And if y'all are like me, where you are struggling to get some ignition, you know, some fire, some to get the ball rolling, just know that there has been zero fire energy in the sky since before the solstice. So like before Christmas, really, back in Sagittarius season. The only time we get little blips of a little bit of fire energy is when the moon goes through, you know, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. And that's just for like 2.5-ish days. So I'm just trying to get this set up here. That's just for like a couple of days, and it doesn't really have like the full oomph of like having major planetary bodies in a fire sign. So I think once we get to the first day of spring, the spring equinox on March 20th, 21st, I got to figure out exactly what day. I think the energy is really going to shift in a good way because I don't know about, like I said, all of you, but it's like I'll have like energy, you know, but to keep it going, it's like very, very difficult right now. And I'm just like really hoping that come Aries season, it'll be a different vibe, a different flavor. So where should we go with what I want to talk about today? Couple interesting. Let's just get some more of the news related topics out of the way. Of course, everyone and their fucking mother is talking still about this Ukraine thing. Interestingly, at the barn, we had a new girl start yesterday who's Ukrainian, like straight up from Ukraine. She seemed to be like around my age. I honestly can't tell people's ages anymore. I just assume everyone's like, most of my friends are boomers or like 10, 15 years older than me, so it's really hard for me to like place people generationally, but she seemed to be like around my age. I'm not going to give her name away, but it's a very Ukrainian name, and she moved here when she was 6 years old, and she doesn't talk like that. She talks like someone who's been fully assimilated into American culture. She talks like a white girl, you know. and she seemed very nice. All of her family, I guess, is still over there, closer to the Poland side, the Polish border. I don't really know the map of Ukraine that well, but yeah. What are the chances that the new person that starts at the barn is Ukrainian, And the Ukrainian girl and the girl who went to Maryland to go visit that Holocaust museum, the Christian evangelical, like Zionist type girl, that one, she is like very into this war with Russia. I was like playing dumb and just like asking some basic questions just to sort of poke her brains to figure out like where she sits on all this, and I'm pretty darn sure that she thinks that we as America are at war with these countries, or that like the rest of the world is like at war. I don't know if she realizes that this is still like sort of localized to those two countries. At least I think so. I don't know. Again, I don't really keep up with the news except for the little bit that I'm about to share with you. But yeah, the Christian Zionist Holocaust girl, she kept going on and on about how Putin is evil, Putin equals Hitler, and she has all these feelings about Russia and all of that, and I just don't really know where that comes from, but she has this like real strong antagonism to Putin and the whole Russian government. I don't know really where that comes from, but Putin is Nazi with a capital N, and it really fits in well with her whole like Holocaust narrative. So she's very passionate, very, very passionate about this war with Russia that apparently we're in. I don't know. Has something changed? Are we as America at war? Someone let me know. But anyways, at the gym this morning, it was a little bit interesting because there were two people at the gym that normally weren't there, and when I walk in, I like shut off all the TV screens. Like I don't want to see it. I don't want to fucking see again all the black advertising. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be influenced at all. So I just shut it all off. No one says anything. It's fine. It's great. But there was someone else and then like a boomer at the gym. So we had ESPN on and then we had Fox News on. And oh my gosh. So Fox News, first of all, just like watching like out of the corner of my eye, they're just like literally drooling over this like Russia-Ukraine conflict. Like I know they talk about like warmongers and that sort of like neocon spirit, but I was just sort of like blown away at just like you could see it on their faces, like this like little like giddy, they're almost like squealing over like the footage that comes out of there and like the whole thing going over there, and they like love this stuff, and I'm just like yuck, 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 hate Fox News so much. And they keep using like the crisis word, like this global crisis, like we're in this crisis. And the same, they used this crisis word when we were in this fake pancake for the past 3 years. And, I'm standing here, just like I did before the fake pancake, and I'm just like, crisis, crisis. I don't see a crisis. I see some things going up in price, gas included, but I don't see like a crisis. I see, help wanted signs, but I don't see people running around in crisis. And again, they keep using this word crisis, crisis, crisis. I'm like, bitch, just you wait until I have my bow and arrow in front of you, and then you can start using the word crisis, okay? It's so annoying. It's like, of all the things to say, I don't know. But anyways, so Fox News then was showing how, I guess Russia and Belarus are banned from the 2022 Paralympic Games. Oh my god! I mean, like, no shade to the Paralympics or like the people that compete there, but it's like, oh, burn, like we're kicking you out of like the retard games, the handicap games you are not allowed to come to, like shame on you, we're kicking you out, like who the hell invited you, like you're not wanted here. I'm getting like vibes of like that Jamae party where the borders show up and she's like, go away or get my dad to bash your face in, like I just want like Russia and Belarus to just show up with all of like their retards and be like, hey guys, we're here to play the games, and they're like, wait, did no one tell you that you're not invited? And they're like, what do you mean we're not invited? I'll stop. I just thought the whole thing was very funny. So, like I said, the other screen showed ESPN, and I hate ESPN so much. I hate it. Oh, first of all, I think I've complained about this before on my channel, like way back. But like Stephen Avery, who's the guy, like the black commentator on ESPN? I can't stand him. Can't stand him at all. And I'm so... Y'all already know that I hate basketball culture and everything to do with basketball. But like having to see like all of these like fucking gorillas, you know, like the LeBron James and all these types like up there, you know, and sometimes they'll have their mask on, sometimes they're not, and they're sitting up there talking, and you know, remember that time when LeBron James was like up there and he's like in front of all these reporters and he sits down, he has like these Nike flip-flops on, his big ass gorilla feet, you know, and he's sitting there like reading Malcolm X. LeBron James is one of the biggest jokes I've ever seen in my entire life. And I think I've reached my cap, like, all these years now of all of this, like, pro-black advertising and all of this, like, diversity and all that stuff. It's too much. It's too much. And ever since the passing of St. George Floyd, you know, that stuff has been going on. And I don't know if that's ever going to shift again. Does anyone else know if that's going to shift? Because culturally, and I've said this before, you know, you really see the beginnings of a shift when fashion changes. And this brings me into my next topic, which is I was listening to this really annoying, total like libtard girl talking about the problem with the old money aesthetic. I guess in Gen Z TikTok world, there are a couple different aesthetics that are sort of having a resurgence, I guess. And one of them is this old money aesthetic. I don't think that people like really understand that. I don't really want to get into the whole old money thing because that's like a whole different discussion. It makes me do want to watch, I know I've talked about it, I think, The Gilded Age on HBO. The whole like nouveau riche versus old money aristocracy. I do find that personally interesting. But this girl was talking about how, first of all, it's problematic that these Gen Zers are into, you know, the old money, like wealthy, white, waspy, aristocratic vibe, because that's obviously based on racism and you know, just racism. You know, all these people got all of their money, 100% of their family wealth that goes back generations just from exploiting black people. Like, I think it's a little bit more complex than that, but they don't understand that, and this is what no one in this time that I'm living in with all y'all, you know, I love you so much, understands at all, is that quality, things take time, okay? For something to be like beautiful and, you know, like really like full on, like rich, you know, things take time. Like, that's why everything's crap right now, because everything that's churned out like that, it's just like 1, 2, 3, like one after another, and it's just crap. It's just consumable garbage, you know, because there's no quality in it, because it's so quickly produced. And things like generational wealth take a lot of time. And this girl is going off on how problematic the old money aesthetic is because, you know, of course it kicks out, you know, so many of the disenfranchised, you know, because they just showed up here somehow in this country expecting, you know, to have generations of wealth just like handed to them somehow, not, again, realizing like how that money was retained again is like in a completely different world. You had like women had power back then in the home, you know, marriages, all of that was like not all of it, but most of it was like arranged, and you had to keep like the family name and the family structure and the family unit and all of that all stayed in house, you know, and to keep that going like after you're gone, you know, and pushing that retention like into the future, into your future offspring, you know, and making sure they get it so that they retain the wealth and that, you know, it just sort of like passes down, is something that this girl, this TikTok girl, did not understand at all. You know, that like that you should just be all of a sudden like have, you know, all these like apartments on like Madison Avenue, like you should have like all these country club licenses, like you should be able to have access to all of this stuff. They have no idea that like the uber wealthy, like these people, they live in a world that the TikTokers will never be able to touch. These people live in a completely different world. They do not cohabit the same space. And this idea, you know, this naivety that they think that, you know, if they dress a certain way or, you know, if they do certain things that they will be like able to like break into these places, it's just, they're just so fucking retarded. You know, they don't, these like concepts these huge concepts they do not get, and they just again chalk it up to just they're racist. They're racist. So then what I don't understand, okay, and this is what blows my fucking mind. This Gen Z girl, she talks like a white girl, but she's an Asian immigrant, all right? But she talks more white and feminine than the white girls do because they're all butch now. And she's like talking like this about this whole thing. And I'm just like trying to get through this video. And I don't understand. Okay, she was talking about how searches on like Poshmark and different like fashion aggregate sites, searches for things like Brooks Brothers and Ralph Lauren have gone up like 300% in the past year as people are starting to cling to this very like waspy conservative aesthetic of like, think like Ralph Lauren ads in the 90s, Lacoste, that type of thing, which are all very, it's like white culture, but we're not allowed to have culture. So I don't understand how this is not cultural appropriation, like, isn't that their big word? Like, these people are not like WASPs, they're not like American heritage people, they just came here and now they're appropriating an aesthetic, an economic aesthetic that they, they're not in that world, yet they think they can take, like, I know the hypocrisy is not something like new, but it just like blows my mind, the whole thing. I'm like, you're such a dumb bitch, But I also want to sort of toot my own horn a little bit because I'm not good at like anything. I'm like average. I can like get through. But one thing, I don't know why, and I'm not, again, saying this to toot my own horn, but like fashion, like trend forecasting is something that like for some reason I can pick up on. And I can pick up on it like 2 or 3 years ahead of the game. I don't know how, I don't know why. I think it's like I have like a Saturn-Venus trine in my chart. That's the only thing I could really think of like, I don't know. I don't get it. But December of 2019 was that person on Poshmark, on the Real, like buying vintage Ralph Lauren polo shirts, vintage rugby shirts. Like, you all seen them like on my channel. Like, I have like a dozen of them, because I liked that aesthetic and I could feel it coming. And I'm like, this is so cool. I like rugby. Don't get me wrong. The men are so fucking hot. The rugby shirts tend to have like broader shoulders and it's like a slightly different like shape. So I just like sort of gravitated to them. Like I love like Ralph Lauren, but I just was like, again, ahead of the curve on that. And now seeing this come full circle and how it's so racist to wear Ralph Lauren, but at the same time, they want to culturally... I'm just going to stop, okay? I'm just going to stop. But yeah, the whole old money aesthetic is allegedly coming back because apparently people are sick of looking at these Soma Sopa apartment YouTuber backdrops where everything is from Amazon, and it's like white and it's like minimalist and all of that. Now they want these like super like extravagant and flamboyant sort of like bed frames and all of this very, what the art record would call like Rococo or like Baroque or... They don't even, maybe this is a good thing, maybe in the long run this will be a good thing and it'll sort of help to wake up the human consciousness to more of the whole Tartarian, timeline about architecture and that whole world, who knows, girl. But, yeah, that whole thing sort of blows my mind. And these people are just, they're just like sick and tired of like that boring YouTuber aesthetic that we've hated since the beginning. And now they're just sort of like looking for something else to go and milk from. And they think that they're going to be able to milk from WASP culture of days gone by. And they're going to get it handed to them at one point. And this... And it's Pisces, the moon's in Pisces, we just had this Piscean new moon, She eyes me like a Pisces when I am weak. Bing, 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 bing. I love Heart-Shaped Box. It's such a good song. Really brought me back there. But I'm trying to be like more compassionate and like empathetic, but at the same time I'm just like, fuck that to all of this stuff, I don't want to know what you feel like. I don't care what you feel like, maybe on some level, person to person in front of me, like there's a little bit back and forth, but this whole like, you gotta understand their point of view, Adam. You just gotta walk a mile in their shoes, I'm like, the fuck? No, I don't I don't want to know the Asian experience, okay? I don't want to know the Chinese experience. I don't want to walk in. I don't want my feet fucking binded, girl, okay? I don't want to walk around sashaying my hips, my big old burthen hips, you know, with my feet all binded and like warped, you know? The fuck? But no, seriously, I maybe I'm just like a contrarian or something, but like this whole like you gotta have empathy and you gotta like these people like they've come from like much less like than what you have, and you just gotta understand them, like really get in their mind and their body and like really connect with that. I'm just like, no, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want anything to do with these people at all, you know. I just don't care. And that makes me sound like an asshole, like, okay, you know, but I just don't care. I really don't care. And I want to say, like, sorry, not sorry, but that brings up, like, another point that I should have made, like, 10 minutes ago about the whole, like, Ukraine stuff. It's because, like, India is, like, neutral in this, allegedly. Or that's what... Who said that? Someone did. But, India, I just want, like, India to get, like, more involved in this whole thing, just so that I can make a video titled, Sorry, Not Sorry. Which is so stupid, but, yeah, that's where we are right now. Grown. Let's go into some weirder topics. So I, you know, went to a gay little Catholic school that I love so much and I'm so thankful for growing up. But one thing, even back in the day, like even in the 90s, there was this whole concept around like saving paper, you know, and I still do that now. Like I'm always like writing on the backs of like little like pieces like this, and I'm like, oh, I can't throw this out yet because I can write on the back of it, you know. And I'm always like very frugal and and a little Jewish when it comes to saving paper. I don't know why, but I'm always like scribbling on that. And I think it comes from my early Catholic schoolboy days of just like, you never wasted paper. You know, paper was expensive. You know, you don't want to have to cut down extra trees. And we would always get like the cheapest paper. You know, like the paper that comes in like a box that's like, is that called like a ream of paper? I'm so fucking stupid. I don't know. But you know where it like, it like unfolds itself and then it has like those perforations on the sides that you have to pull off, and yeah, I don't know, but I'm still very conservative with my paper usage, and I'm just wondering now, like almost 30 years later, where the world is when it comes to saving paper. I know everything like went digital, and they try to like make you feel eco-friendly by, you know, instead of getting a mailer, like why don't you just pay your bill online, you know? And now the like mail, if it's not like magazines or letters from friends like Sacha, you know, I love you so much, it's always just like credit card like ads, you know, like, you know, you have an excellent approval odds for, you know, like XYZ, you know, that's the only thing like you really get in paper. And yeah, I don't know, I'm still a very big paper conservationist. I love paper, I love weighted paper, I love cheap paper, I love it all. But I'm wondering, you know, am I the only one, God, that, you know, has that point of view still, or is this just like a carryover from my youth? I don't know. But it is March 3rd, right? 3/3/2022. And on March 1st and yesterday, not yet today though, the geese are back. The geese, I can hear the geese. They're like flying over. You know, that is always like the telltale sign of like spring is coming for me. But yeah, the geese are back, and that made me so happy because I get so feminine and nervous about the natural environment here because all of the ponds have dried up and all the trees are dead. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen this, you know, spring summer season, but the geese are back, so that made me like a little bit more hopeful. I hope. I don't know. But the geese, I love the sound of the geese. As they fly over. I know when they have like these massive flocks and they shit all over the driveway and like everywhere, it gets kind of annoying. But the geese are back, and I remember there was this awesome Alan Watts talk on the concept of yugen, which is a Japanese word meaning, I think it's two characters. It's like deep and mysterious, and allegedly the whole idea of like geese just like flying and like disappearing into the clouds, you know, and like wandering off, like where are they going? You know, I don't know. Just a very Yugen experience, and I'm so happy the geese are back. Where should we go next? Let's go to some pop culture news. Should I check the comments first and then go to pop culture news? I think I'm going to do that. And then we have some gay vulnerability to get into. La 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 la. Hello, everybody. Wow, 13 of you, it says on stream. I love you all so much. I can't read the comments. It's making me overwhelmed. Okay, let's go back to the pop culture news. So, first of all, did I hear it from one of you? I don't know where this information trickled down through, but I guess Miss USA of 2019 killed herself. I'm not laughing at suicide. I guess she struggled with depression or something. Gets so sad these days. But I'm pretty sure she killed herself, from what I'm hearing. And it's always so tragic when such a beautiful person dies. I remember, let me go back in my notes. Wasn't it the last stream I did where I was talking about how unless you're... Oh yeah, the internet sad... Was Miss USA 2019 the internet sad girl? Sad girls are expected to be beautiful or they're not really sad girls. I think... Why do I feel like she threw herself from a building? I don't know if that's how she died, but yeah, I guess Miss USA 2019 croaked. Don't know what's up with that. I don't mean to, again, laugh at suicide because, the UK and, all over the world the past couple of years with this whole fake pancake, all of, the young kids, a lot of them have taken their life because, they don't see a healthy future. I do not blame them. I get it. I understand. But remember, we don't talk about that. We talk about Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine. Not all that stuff. Remember, it went away. I know, UK... Then they say the UK, in the couple weeks ago, they lifted all of their restrictions and all that stuff. But what about Germany? What about Austria? These places that had insane passport requirements and all that stuff. Is that all away, or is that just out of the news cycle and it's still very much alive? I have no idea. Someone let me know because again, we got to pray for Ukraine, but. Again, all these other countries, I think, still have all their passport. Sir, do you have your passport? And that still really sucks. So, I don't know. I guess Melinda Gates, the ex-wife of Bill Gates, both Satanists. Remember, Melinda is the male in the relationship and Bill is the female. I know it's hard to reconcile in your brain, but Satan is an inversion. So Melinda Gates, I guess, is doing a tell-all about all of the infidelity that she had to put up with Bill Gates. I think she got over $100 million in the divorce. I want to say it's $100 billion. I'm pretty sure that I'm getting a B in my head. I'm pretty sure she got a B in the divorce. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just 100-something million. Just 100-something million. But yeah, she's going on some sort of streaming service and doing some sort of tell-all. As if anyone wants to hear that. Melinda Gates is one of the ugliest people out there. And the fact that they're going to put some probably 2-hour documentary following her ugly-ass face, his ugly-ass face around, makes me nauseous. Of all the things to make a documentary about, Melinda Gates, really? So I just thought that was interesting. Kathy Hilton. Remember Kathy Hilton? She was in the news last week. Did I talk about her? I don't remember. But Kathy Hilton, the mother of Paris Hilton, who we love so much. Kathy Hilton. I guess they've been filming the next season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Kathy Hilton allegedly in some angry moment, called some servant boy a fag. Not to his face, but, in conversation after the fact, I think. I don't really understand the story. But she apparently used the F word, and I just thought it was so funny because what's happening online is all of, the gay community who stan Kathy Hilton don't care at all. They're I would love for Kathy Hilton to call me a fag. Whip me, call me fag again, whip me. The gay community loves it. And that just goes to show this whole cancel thing. As long as people like you, the whole cancel thing doesn't really happen. It's the people that people fucking hate end up getting canceled. They're just we don't want to see your content anymore, James Charles, all those people. It's we don't want to. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Okay, before we slip over to the next window, do I have everything on these notes done? I guess this is just one little point. I don't know where this came from, but to all my fellow whites out there, we are the only ones that are going to be able to sort this out at all. The other races don't have the imagination, the creativity, or the wherewithal to do it. So we're the only ones that are going to be able to figure this out. And if not, if we can't figure this out, we are the only ones that are going to be able to properly strike the final blow to leave this realm in ash and ruin, so the world can begin anew. I for some reason was feeling like the Wotan vibe yesterday. And I was like, maybe we just need to just ruin all of this. Like, I know everyone's like, oh, nuclear war, like the threat of nuclear war. And these are all people that are like, oh, like allegedly like Christian and all of this, and I would be like, I guess somewhat afraid of like nuclear war, but this idea that the whole planet is going to get wiped out is just like so fucking retarded to me. First of all, there's always going to be little pockets of people that survive, you know, and move along. Also, in my world, the world is much bigger, so I don't think just like a couple countries putting bombs at each other is really going to destroy the bigger Earth, the bigger realm at all. And again, you know, like, I'll be back again. You know, I'm not necessarily a believer in like the resurrection, but like the idea that like, you know, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You know, I've been here 1,000,000 years and I'll be here another 1,000,000 years. You know, like, I'm not afraid of that at all. Like, at all. And again, all these like alleged like Christians that love Jesus Christ so much, it's like, you know, I'm not saying that, oh, nuclear war, not to be like a little bit afraid or like a little bit apprehensive, like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. But like, my faith is in whatever it is that I am. Like, I'm just like unfazed by it. In fact, it'd be kind of interesting, you know. And again, if that does happen, well, good riddance, because the world can then begin anew. You know, we can get rid of all of this ugly architecture, all of these purple-haired freaks. They can all go, you know, and we can start fresh, you know, and just nice and clean, tabula rasa, you know, just, okay, you know, a clean piece of white paper to start all over again. I'm not opposed to that at all, but I'm probably in the minority. So, okay, next we're going to start to bear a little bit of my gay little soul. I'm going to be vulnerable with you in the hopes that somebody out there can put into words what I'm about to show you. It's going to be a series of clips from different places and animations, of a lot of which came from my youth. But they involve, this is going to have you shook, and this is why I wanted to do it while the moon was still in Pisces, but it involves, like, I don't even have the vocabulary for this. It's like this rhythmic, very light, very effervescent chanting, okay? And usually this sort of chanting and sort of accompanying music with this chanting involves some sort of like crazy, like transformation, spiritual or otherwise. And it sort of has this sort of eerie, bizarre, you don't understand what's happening right in front of your eyes. You don't want to understand what's happening in front of your eyes because it's like just so over, it just netty, you know, like you're not going to have words for it. It's just like some profound spiritual experience that you can't put into words. And these little scenes that I'm about to show you get closest to what I'm trying to describe. Y'all are gonna think I'm so fucking stupid. I don't care, but like I'm gonna be vulnerable, and I just want to share these little clips and see if I can hopefully. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get a whole bunch of ads too with all of this. So the first ones are from Atlantis, the animated film. I don't know if it's a Disney film, but the first clip I'm going to show is just going to sort of set the scene for the other clips I'm going to show. I don't know, like, with the Streamlabs thing, I don't know what I'm going to turn my mic around in the hopes that helps pick up the volume, because some of this stuff is very hard and very subtle to hear, but I'm going to do my best. I'm sorry if none of this makes sense, but I'm just going to roll with it, okay? So the first clip is, they're just discussing these crystals in Atlantis. Okay, how do I do this? No. How do I do this? Do we move this to the side? Yes, okay. Let's move me down to the gay little corner. I hope you all can see what's behind. Sorry, before we start, we're going to get this little one out of the way. Are you going to calm down? Or are you going to be a nuisance too? I think we should probably get you out. Should we get you out? Okay. Sorry, y'all. This is just... The sound is... The sound is literally like the whole point of this, so... Okay, first we're going to start with some crystal...
These crystals, they have some sort of healing energy. I've seen it work.
No. Where is my daughter?
Well, she...
She has been chosen, like her mother before her.
What?
In times of danger, the crystal will choose a host, one of royal blood, to protect itself and its people. It will accept no other.
Wait a minute. Choose. So this thing is alive?
In a way. The crystal thrives on the collective emotions of all who came before us. In return, it provides power, longevity, protection. As it grew, it developed a consciousness of its own. In my arrogance, I sought to use it as a weapon of war, but its power proved too great to control. It overwhelmed us and led to our destruction.
That's why you hid it beneath the city, to keep history from repeating itself.
And to prevent Kida from suffering the same fate as my beloved wife.
What do you mean? What's gonna happen to Kida?
If she...
So that's just some little background on the whole crystal thing. This next part is what I'm sort of talking about with the music, okay? This, like I said, these are just like little things that I have been like hearing since I was like 7 years old, okay? And I'm just hoping that someone out there can tell me what I'm picking up on.
What did she say?
I don't know. I didn't catch it.
So let me just sort of rewind there to see if we can hear it again. So that's what I mean. It's this very light, sort of effervescent, like chanting. It's very, very gentle. It's not like I love like Assassin's Creed music. I love like long, like 12-hour Gregorian chant YouTube streams. You know, like I love that like thick chanting. But this is like very, very light and very subtle. This next clip also speaks to it. Right here, okay? Right here. Like, I don't even think my mic is even picking that up. I'm gonna do it one more time. So this is what I'm talking about, okay? It's like this bizarre, this like hyper spiritual, if that's even the right word. It's just like these experiences that are just like out of this world, and they're always accompanied by this. I don't know. I find it so crazy. And I love the aesthetic of this whole... It's like very Aquarian, you know, the water and the air. And just like reversing that. I love that aesthetic. And I love like the movement of like the hair and the body as if it's like underwater. It reminds It reminds me of the other day at the barn. Just a second, brief short story interlude. The other day at the barn, there was the biggest tarp I've ever seen was holding all of this dirt and sand for the dressage arena. And we had to take all of that dirt and sand off, and then like half a dozen of us had to figure out a way to fold up this tarp that was like bigger than like a house. It was this huge tarp, and it was a really windy day. So we're trying to like fold this thing, and this huge tarp is like when like the wind would come and the whole thing would like move in like this wave sort of. I think it's beautiful. I don't know what it is about it, but the movement of it almost like hypnotizes me. I'm a freak, I know, but there's something about that that just like it speaks to my soul. So this is again what I'm trying to show you guys, is having a little gay vulnerable moment and show you bits of my soul. Okay, now we're going to switch to Avatar, and the Avatar team, they also speak to a similar thing. Okay.
There's no hope now. It's over.
No, it's not over.
You see what I mean? It's like this very weird thing I'm into, or at least my soul is into, and it's this like, it's like this chanting from like way back in the back of my mind that I can't pick up on and I can't place. I don't know. The last one example I have is probably the loudest, so I'm going to try to mess around with the volume here. It's from Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, and it's when they're about to cut out the heart of Will, spoiler alert, Will Turner, and he's becoming like the next captain of the Flying Dutchman. And the music also has the same sort of eerie quality. So that was the last example I have of that type of thing. If anyone else is familiar with anything that I just described, I know I sound fucking nuts, but this is like something that has plagued me for a very long time, and I just felt inspired to see if I could cast a gay little line to see if someone knows out there what that is. But as you saw, from like the Atlantis clips to the Avatar to like it's not necessarily like, it's like this like drum beat and like a little bit of chanting, and then there's like this spiritual sort of thing happening. I also, I don't know, maybe like a past life or something. I don't know if I believe in that type of thing, but I don't know. There's some sort of imprint on my soul there that I don't understand. But I appreciate you all getting through that bit of homosexuality with me. The next couple of things I want to talk about are a lot lighter. Here's just a funny clip.
So you can see how much weight you lost. Put your hands up. So I leave for 6 weeks, and he is streaming. Make me very uncomfortable. Stop doing anything about the merch. They know it's my merch. It's the most popular. 15,000 people are wearing it right now. Sit. All I'm trying to do is say that Norman's body has shrunk inside. He lost how many pounds in 6 weeks?
I lost over 40 lbs.
40.
Yeah, I started at 312, now I'm like 270 something.
So he's still clinically obese. Okay, cheers, you guys. Today, I'm not trying to
Are you morbidly obese? You're literally morbidly obese.
I'm not trying to lose weight, and I'm also not
Clearly, you're not into losing weight. You're not in the business of losing weight. You're all about the business of gaining weight.
I'm not speaking to you. You guys, I have an announcement. Be quiet. You made me crush my vitamins. The only thing that's keeping me alive. You guys, I have I have an announcement to make. So yes, I'm back home shooting and I'm probably gonna leave next week because I can't. I'm speaking. Don't touch. Ouch.
Wasn't that the stupidest thing you've ever seen in your life? I don't know why I felt compelled to share that. The next one I'm not going to play, but it's the trailer for this movie called The Northman that's coming out. And they rarely make films that don't have diversity in it. And I watched this trailer, and it, first of all, it has some good actors like Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman. There's some pretty good. That Anya Taylor-Joy, she was from that movie The Witch, if you've seen that. She played Tummelson. Well, anyways, this Northman film looks pretty good. It looks pretty gory, and like I said, they never really show much of like Nordic culture ever. So I probably will end up seeing this. It makes me a little bit hesitant because of like the programming element with all of this. They always show this part of the world, whether it's like Germanic tribes or Scandinavia. They always, and like the Viking thing, like Hollywood, I think really influences our perception of that realm at that time. I don't understand how they show like Vikings and this type of culture, and they show it like relatively primitive. Yet at the same time, like Vikings are allegedly like made their way all the way to North America. So those two things like are really hard for me to place in my head, in the narrative in my head. It's like Hollywood shows Nordic people as sort of this like barbaric, sort of like more like tribal in the snow type vibe, yet they're apparently able to like navigate the world, and in my opinion have a pretty high culture. So yeah, this movie is called The Northman. It does not look awful. It kind of looks like, I don't know, but it's rare to find a movie that has like just white people in it, or at least from what I've seen. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Also, shout out to Bear Trap, Serge. I love you so much. And I am going to show. He recommended a channel to me earlier today, and I appreciate the suggestion, Bear Trap. And I love you, and I want you to keep giving me suggestions. I'm just using this as an opportunity to truly sort of like share my like first sort of perception as I went to this guy's channel. His name's Andrew Huberman. Maybe some of you all have heard of him. I had not. But this is his channel, and it has a lot to do with like mind, body type of thing, but like the science behind it. And I'm sure there's a lot of really great information in here. I have not watched any of his videos. Like I said, this is just me and like my first sort of experience looking at this guy's channel. And like I always get a little bit wary of people who put their faces in their thumbnail. But I was just like looking at the titles for some of these. And again, Bear Trap, I love you. Please keep sending me suggestions. I'm sure once I get into these videos, they will be great. This is just like me being gay and reading it to filth. But like, okay, the science of love and desire, the science of mindsets for health, the science of making breaking habits, the science of social bonding. I find that all so fucking boring. It's like the science of this, the science of that. Like let's figure out the most cold and hollow way to approach something. Like I would find this much more interesting just from the get-go if it was like the spirituality of love and desire, the spirituality of making and breaking habits, the spirituality of gut health, the spirituality of but like putting the word science in front of it for some reason really turns me off. And I know on some level in the golden age, science and spirituality are fused together, but this sort of approach, just like off the top of my head when I first was going through this, I was like, how the hell am I going to get through 235-minute video on the science of love, desire, and attachment? Like, let's just like suck all of the cool stuff out of love, desire, and attachment, and just let's look at the cold hard facts of it, and how we're just like biological machines just switching on and off different, R factors and different genes, and it's just on, off, black, white. And I just, again, as I just showed you with these clips with all the chanting and the spirituality, my brain, I'm a Pisces ascendant, like, I don't know. Maybe that, again, I thank you for the suggestion, Bear Trap, and I cannot wait to listen to some of this stuff. I'm sure it's very interesting. But again, just like from the get-go, to learn a little bit more about me, like the science of stress and testosterone, that sounds so boring to me. So fucking boring. Sorry, I just realized my mic wasn't turned around. You probably can't even hear what I'm saying. Anyways, yeah. So, thank you, Bear Trap, again for the suggestion. Bear Trap is great, by the way, y'all. I am not like able to look at the chat because it's overwhelming me right now. But Bear Trap, I love you so much. So. That's what I have for you guys today. I hope that wasn't too boring. But I've been talking for almost an hour now, so I think I'm gonna go. But seriously, if someone could please tell me what it is that all of that weird chanting spiritual transformation stuff, why that affects me so, please let me know. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, I think I'll leave it there for today. I'll try to make a video tomorrow, but it's weird. The spring weather here has been bizarre, to say the least. So if all things go well, hopefully I'll be able to stream tomorrow, but it's not looking likely. So anyways, I love you all so much.